You are listening to the 312 Squadron podcast. My name is Nick Sperry.
I'm Andrew Kouba.
I'm Samuel Graebner.
And I'm Ryan 313 Staniszewski, not 312.
Hey, 313, not 312. Or as people like to say, 3/112th or 3/12th, which drives me crazy. But that
313th for those people.
312th Squadron.
313th. That just sounds awful. It's like nails on a chalkboard.
Ryan calling in from a remote secret location. Just north
Very
of
remote.
us. Yeah.
With good internet connection and a good microphone. Very remote indeed. Guys, we got new content. Super exciting. New content, new points, and even a new XWA council. I'll just get the elephant out of the room addressed. I was fortunate enough to get elected as a part of the new council for XWA recently, and super excited to be able to help the organization, continue to help the organization and work with you, Ryan, and everyone else who helps keep the game of X-Wing going. Thanks for joining us, man. Really appreciate it. And guys, thanks all for making the time to talk about the new stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the new content and new X-Wing stuff after Worlds has just been dropping at a breakneck pace. So it's really cool to be able to jump on and talk about it.
Yeah, Ryan, you had a big role in yet another release under your guys' belt here.
Yeah, it was another step in a direction of designing where we focused completely on SLs before, and this time we dipped our toes into custom stuff, both upgrades for custom pilots that exist and new pilots that are custom.
Yeah, definitely. I think proving the haters wrong. You're like, you guys are only going to do SLs just because people wanted to manifest that kind of narrative. But it's nice to have a place. There's a place for everything, and it's been really cool to see this new stuff already getting played on streams at the local game store. To be able to pop open the list builder, as we all like to do, and just kind of start theory crafting, like what can I do with this pilot? How can I build around this? Or how can I incorporate this upgrade? Super, super fun. Guys, have you gotten a chance to really like dig into all the new stuff that dropped a few days ago?
I'll go. I've played one NCX match with some new stuff. Played with Thrawn. Been building a lot of lists as well for Empire, just like tinkering around with new stuff, because a lot of what I was playing was got shifted around with the points. So I'm super excited about all the new stuff. It's very cool.
How did you implement Thrawn? What was he on?
Thrawn was on Vizier. So we could mostly coordinating at range 3. Only got the double activation one time in a spot where it was kind of irrelevant to the game state. The coordinating at range 3 was really powerful. Thrawn is cool, and he's been a center of most of my lists. I've got at least one list that's going to try and maximize him with Fair-Off and TAC Officer as well.
That sounds really cool. I've had a chance to play with the new pilots. I've been flying a lot of Resistance, so it was really cool to see Kazuda Xiono in the T-70 instead. And I've also been playing against some of this new stuff. One of my favorites was I had an opponent who was flying Wedge with the Flight Assist Astromech that allows you to use the 2 template to barrel roll and boost. And it totally, I thought, changed the way that Wedge flies, making him a lot more AC than kind of like a big gun platform. And then I've been really curious about trying like Karnor Jax. It sounds really cool. And then even for FO, Tamara Rivora, kind of taking that M9G8 like role and putting it on an FO ship, I thought was just super neat.
Ryan, I'm gonna just while we have you, I'm just gonna dive into kind of this really quick, like quote unquote sidebar interview to get some insight on just how things were on your end when it came to the ideating process with Paul and Roberto to obviously getting to the point of release. Can you tell me a little bit about the design approach with Legends and Relics, and why did you guys want to or feel the need to quote unquote like revive some of these legends that you saw in 1.0?
So as I kind of alluded to earlier, it was the first content release that included custom pilots and upgrades. But our approach was somewhat similar to what we did with Evacuation of Dakar and Armed and Dangerous, where we wanted to take like an educated, smart approaches to this next step of custom pilots and new upgrades. And with that in mind, we started do light levels of research in multiple avenues and just kind of asking ourselves some questions like, that we should probably answer to ourselves, which is, what were some holes in certain point brackets, either for upgrades or pilots, or chassis, I guess, in which we might be able to fill? Some answers to that were the astromechs and some factions or generic felt a little light in the mid-range costs. There were some high-cost ones that, your regenning ones, your choppers, your R2s, or your low-cost ones, your light, dial, making it more blue with the R4 or whatever the astromech is, man. There's so many astromechs now. I'm trying to remember
It's R4.
all of
You're
them for
good.
it.
It's R4.
Modification slot, another one. They had not much in that mid-range cost. You got like afterburners and higher at 8 or more or whatever, but then you had some low cost ones, delayed fuses, but there was really like not much in that like 4 to 6 range. So that was sort of answers. Like there were some upgrades that we knew that there were some slots that and we worked closely with the points team on this to make sure that like what we found with just us looking, being the design team, matched what the points team viewed from their perspective, making adjustments and things that they had been doing over the past year plus within the point structure. The next question was, what are some upgrades from existing SL cards that don't have versions of upgrades you could put on custom ships could we use to help fill those holes without needing to make a ton of new upgrades and try to balance a bunch of new things and make sure that if we have the chance to utilize abilities that we as players are already familiar with on those existing SLs. So like, again, kind of going back to the modification, automated loaders, like that's a solid, good upgrade that we felt like had a great opportunity to be used on custom ships. I have my own slight vendetta against the reload action, but besides that point, it felt like it was a solid spot to add a wrinkle into some of these payload munition-based ships where they don't feel like they have to take so much time off and maybe get some of those lesser charged or lesser ammoed upgrades to be used more by just having automated loaders as an option. And then what have been some pilots or characters the community has mentioned missing from first edition? We see people reminisce about stuff all the time, right? Oh, I did this with Karnor, with Thweek, or with this and that. Those we saw the patterns, the names that consistently came up, and basically answering those 3 main questions with upgrades or chassis and point holes and fond memories and nostalgia filled our whiteboard really quick of ideas, and we set out from there.
Yeah, honestly, I think I'm curious to hear what excited you the most, or were any of these upgrades or pilots one that you had like a direct hand in bringing into the game?
How the process has kind of gone more recently as we've started getting into the flow of designing together as a team is like Roberto is just a madman of drafting designs in vast quantities, and he pulls from all levels of lore and media and everything to try and like he is easily the whiteboard filler. He will come in, he will make all these designs, and then me and Paul will sort of like look at him a little bit. We'll give some of our 2 cents, what feels good, what and what we like, and how we can tweak some things here and there, and just kind of refine it a bit. And then we'll kind of all go back and look at them again as like a grouping and see how it all comes together. So like I have to honestly, I'm looking back at our releases and be like, what did I really have much more of a hand in? Maybe Gravitic Well a little bit, or pushing for Winged Reversal to come off of only on the Bo-Katan SL, and really like that was one of the first things I was like, man, even though we made the Bo-Katan SL and had the Winged Reversal, I'm like, this needs to just be a config. Like I'm so tired of these ships that should be able to turn around not be able to turn around. So I want like gauntlets to be able to always have access to Winged Reversal. And then we also, because some people like saw the Wing Reversal card, they saw the art, they're like, oh, the gauntlet thing, and they didn't read the fact that it's also available on U-Wings.
U-Wing. What about the Epsilon?
What do you mean about the Epsilon? I don't see that thing turning like the gauntlet.
I forgive me for being the meatball X-Wing player who was like, oh, the Epsilon would have loved that. Not saying I'm giving you crap, but I was like,
no, it's
like
fine.
Epsilon.
Look,
you're right. Gets a 4 dice gun. Yeah.
It has wings. You're right. I would
Yeah.
just like to see those wings stay intact while doing that maneuver.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
right.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, what you don't want my auto proton torpedo shooting a large spaceship to be able to turn around on a whim
to
like
pivot.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say though that I really loved Bo-Katan's design in the Gauntlet, and I'm very excited for this change to come to that chassis.
Yeah, just because I definitely see people who love the idea of the stop and the rotate. There's a chance really that the swing reversal has a much stronger effect on the Gauntlet than it does the U-wing, because the U-wing does only have like the 2 turns that open up for it. But hey, um, it's a new wrinkle. There's a lot of new wrinkles, and you talked about it. The flight assist astromech. It's like crazy. I
Mhm.
mean, you're talking to Wedge. With Wedge specifically, I really like the basic loadout of like plasma torpedoes and the retrofit auto thrusters. Like, just give him a
Yeah.
chance to have a pseudo afterburners, but with barrel roll, and then like still get your locks. You get a little bit of reposition, set up the good plasmas that he's always equipped pretty well.
I had the absolute misfortune of playing against Steven Weiland with Anakin and the Delta 7 with flight assist astromech
He would do
and
dirty things to you.
Oh,
and
God.
extreme maneuvers. And
Oh, yep.
I had
Whoa.
forgotten that it was 2 charges, so I was like, "Oh wow, you're gonna like get to me again." He's like, "Oh no, it's only 2 charges." I'm like, "Oh okay, good." I was just convinced that I was gonna be miserable the whole game dealing with this. It was really good, and I probably
Yeah.
just gave some Republic players some dirty ideas, but it's got to be
Yeah,
a lot
no
of fun to do
kidding.
something like
we
that.
we are happy to make things strong, but apply necessary amount of charges for it.
Unlimited is not like 3 or 4 charges.
Yeah.
Ryan, what was the most challenging and why to design, and why was it the burst laser turret? I'm just kidding, but what was really challenging from a design perspective for you guys once you kind of settled on the ideas?
The challenging ones were definitely leaning more so on, to be clear, like all this challenge stuff for me, it also invites a level of intrigue and fun to it too. Like working through the process of finding the best way to capture a pilot or upgrade as best as we can while also making it as balanced as we can. But then also the added wrinkle of the nostalgia ones, your 1.0s. Thweek was probably the more challenging or the most iterative pilot we had on this list, where we knew early on, we're like, okay, sure, we can entertain the idea of doing like the original abilities or one of the original abilities in the condition, but like this really probably shouldn't exist in the current environment of the game in either capacity. So we're like, okay, got to start fresh with Thweek. How can we capture him? Well, his old ability made him feel very adaptive, right? Like to a game state situation, that condition when applied in 1.0, picking either one of them basically allowed the user to feel like their pilot that they brought to the game was very adaptive. So we went off that initially to where we were really experimental, trying a sort of like adaptive loadout design, but it was kind of a nightmare to a degree, or a bit complicated and hard to give to the points team, so that they had the ability in the future to adjust the loadout value and the point of the ship on a points flexibility, because we felt like if we designed it with this sort of adaptive loadout system design in a way, that it'd be so tight to balance and give to points teams so they could have loadout values adjust as they need to push and pull. Because we kept the window super tight on like what he could do but still be adaptive, it was just like it was too much basically. And then there was like the actual gameplay of it. And then we're like, okay, back to the drawing board on Thweek. We're like, okay, we dove a little bit deeper into what limited lore there is of him, and actually found he hates Geonosians. We're like, huh, can we do something with tractor tokens here and find some way to have a built-in counter to the Nantex on a theme level while also like making cool things happen with, because we know with the micro thrusters on Star Vipers, it was always like, oh, if I get tractor, they get to do the bendy barrel against me because they have to. What if you could use it yourself, but also find a way to make it sort of counter like Nantex, or more specifically at the time, Ensnare? So that's how we got to the Thweek you now see, basically.
Ryan, was there a card that didn't go through a ton of changes in this process? What, like, was there anything that came out and just you guys were like, "Yep, this is it. We nailed it."
Let me see. Karnor, I think, stuck pretty similar to what you see him as. You know what? I'll say that the one that surprised me the most, that kept almost everything from initial design was gravitic well. Like, it took us a bit to get a new config, or like we wanted something to give to the Nantex that was like, can we get off ensnare or do something else with this chassis? And we're like, okay, can we come up with a config, a standardized one, so that you don't have to worry about, oh, this Nantex ensnares and this one does not, or like whatever it's doing. And can we find a way to sort of reverse it, so like there's an incentivized way to keep the tractor, still use all of its base ability, and then just have it act like this sort of gravity pull center. We kind of took a little bit of inspiration from like in the Star Wars game Armada. They have the interdictor class Imperial Star Destroyer style, where it is like a gravity well type effect that it has, and it pulls things, it does things to ships. So how can we adapt that to have that type of effect in the Nantex? And the last sort of like tweak we had to it was like, how can we make sure that like Sunfac and Chairtech actually would want to take this, because other stuff needs to be tracked for their effect. And like we checked with Maui and the rules team, like, yeah, if you just like say replace any instance of the defender as tractor to if you are tractor, like that just works. Like we could, that works as is. And through playtesting, we expected that to come back in some sort of like feedback adjustment here and there, and we got very little like, we need to fix this feedback, which was for me kind of surprising, because the Nantex is such a, I'd say, polarizing chassis, to say the least, in the game's history.
I honestly don't have any idea I have no idea what you're talking about. I might have missed something.
It's never been good.
Like there was a point at which we were just kind of making sure we're going through all the notes from playtesters, and I'm like, Paul, have there been many notes on gravitic well? He's like, surprisingly, no. Like not in like in the effect of like it's not working or is, or like just like there wasn't any negativity towards of what we put together with it. So we're kind of surprised on that one.
I'll be 100% honest. I still don't exactly know how it works. And probably because I have a small brain and I don't play Nantex.
Show up, keep tractor token, make everything strained around you. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, okay, and so it's obviously very high risk.
Yes, it is a very and it can better support the lower initiative ones. They don't have to try and line up their arc with something special to pass off the tractor. Now, if when you bring this version of the config, do you really want to have gravitic deflection? Probably. But then that kind of works. Like you're generating a gravity well and it's now deflecting lasers, versus there's just something tractored in your arc from ensnare or the ship itself to generate the gravitic deflection. So like it kind of does work well together on a theme level too.
Yeah.
Does that mean that Sunfac can use his ability more, like roll extra attack dice while he's tractored?
Correct. He just if he has a tractor token, his ability is always on. But now he's permanently to agility. So
right, cool. You know what? I've learned something. I learned more. Big words mean do trick, as they say eloquently.
Sure.
Ryan, what does it feel like to see the work that you guys have done evolve all the way from just whiteboard concepting to play testing to being played at like tournaments and ultimately, the biggest events leading up to Worlds? How does that feel?
So like through the whole process, there's a level of like, okay, the first audience we have is essentially the points team, because they're going to evaluate it, see initially if there's anything they see that's like a red flag, or like we give these points, right? And do we target, because we do have like point targets that we give stuff, like ideal ranges that we want to hit, and we see if the points team like aligns with that, or if we're way off. If we're way off, then we probably should like do a little back and forth to figure out why. And then there's like delivering it to the play testers and see what feedback we're going to get from them, and like that whole process of like bringing it out to new eyes. There's like a level of anxious, nervous, excitement, all those feelings when you're about to like reveal something to anyone about something you've worked on. So that's that familiarity, or that type of feeling is pretty common. But like once it's like on the table, or you're seeing people talk about it, build lists with it, show excitement for it, then it's just pure like joy for me. I'll be honest, like whenever I pull up a stream or like see results and events, I'm like constantly rooting for the stuff that like we made. I'm like, oh, did this do well? I'm like, oh, he's playing the new thing from Evacuation to Car. I'm rooting for that guy.
Yeah, I did
I'm
that.
not gonna lie, I'm purely biased. Whatever we make, I want that to win. Now that doesn't mean I'm trying to make it purposely like amazingly good to do great in the game, but I just like seeing people enjoy it and like find new wrinkles and like ways they're going to use the cards. Because I mean, we've known from when AMG or FFG worked on this game, I mean, playtesters and the design team can only do so much. When it gets to the wider audience, it's like there's interesting things I see them try, do, attempt, fail, succeed, all of it. And it's very interesting to see it all sort of unravel within like a week or two already.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that I feel that this has made a big impact on the game and really shaken it up from what I've seen.
Yeah, agreed. People are excited. Things are changed. It's a cool time to be playing X-Wing.
Hope so. That's the goal, right? Oh, and I will note Nick's slight comment on the burst laser turret earlier. It was that one's exclusively wasn't just that specific card. It was designing a new turret that was just there was so much that comes with that. And spoiler, it's not easy to make a new balanced turret for this game. It's one of those. There've been so few, and we found out why, because it's really hard to design something that can shoot not only out the front arc, it could shoot out any potential arc, but we had just almost a separate whiteboard of ideas for turrets and just narrowing them down and figuring out what felt good, fun, experimental, interesting. You know, we pushed and pulled a lot on the turret slot options, and I can't really go specifically into what were some of the core or like rough ideas because I don't know what may be reused in future content. So just know we had a lot of turret ideas, some crazy, some way unexpected, some that like I came up with a thing, I thought it was really cool, but like, man, it was probably too good.
Have you gotten any games in with any of this stuff, Ryan? Like, my understanding is, you're not playing as much right now. Is that still the case, or I'm not grilling you about playing? It's more so just wondering if you've got a chance to play any of the stuff you've designed recently.
Not recently. A lot of what I've been playing is I got into Star Wars Unlimited, the card game, and I've been doing a lot more focus on my physical health too. So I have incorporated more like exercise time on my daily schedule. So X-Wing
Awesome.
is not as common, but still played when I can.
Yeah. Well, you guys once again done an awesome job. Seems like you generally all have a really fun time and are very passionate about creating, and we obviously need that from a design team. And you guys have been very steady to this point, and so great work.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Guys, we'll flip the coin over to talking about kind of the points side of things. That was in tandem with the new content release. We had a major points update.
Indeed.
I'm scrolling through the document right now, and it is like a lot of Rebel buffs. It just tons of pilots going down in cost in terms of squad point cost. But really just a big shakeup, right? Without really talking about line by line, we're not going to do that. Just in terms of the theme, the patch notes are pretty simple. It's just like we shook things up. How do you guys feel about everything? About your favorite faction? What are you noticing? And also like what were you expecting to get changed? Any surprises?
I think the most surprising thing for me has been the raising the bar for lower initiative and the expensive lowering or raising the cost of I6 and I5 to make it so that the game seems to have, from at least my initial list building and playing, kind of evened out somewhere in the middle of the initiative band. There's more incentive to take I4 and I5 rather than trying to just fill your list with I6s. I've played a bunch of Empire over the past 6 months, prep for Worlds and in NCX, and my lists were pretty much always like two I6s and then fill in whatever rest. I love Whisper, so I usually would play two I6s and an I5. But I found right now that you're really incentivized to have a more like a mid-rangey version of an Empire list rather than like the hyper aces or the big swarms. Things are kind of coalescing in the middle, I've found.
Yeah, I'd agree with that assessment. I would say that for some factions, things really have only gone down by like 1 or 2 points. Like there was nothing really that stood out to me as like a massive swing. As we all had an idea that in Scum, Fen was going to go up. Some of those higher initiative ships on the Scum side were going up in points, and that happened. So I think the some of the obvious issues in the game were taken care of, and I think that the points would be like less impactful if it wasn't for the introduction of this new material. So I think that they do kind of coincide together. My personal feeling is that maybe there was a lighter touch on some of the ships from a purely like points perspective with this new content that's kind of, I think, really shaken up the game a little bit more. But I will say I think that Rebel, like Republic, and FO are moving in the right direction. The last thing that I want to add too, we had Tony on, who was sure that his Worlds list was going to be nerfed, and FO was one of the factions where that didn't happen, and they were given a lot of support. So I'm looking forward to seeing them more on the table too, because I think in the XWA era, FO has been a faction that's kind of needed, I think, a little bit more help.
I think my understanding is that his list had minor loadout tweak nerfs, just like feedback ping related, I think was like the only thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, not like drastically changed.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Ryan, I think one way to describe the new content and how it's priced points wise is like price to play. Is that how you would describe it? It seems like everything is like ready to go. Like, let's do this. Put it in your list.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just like, hey, new stuff. You should play this 100%, no questions asked. But like, there's some stuff in there where it's like, yeah, like I want to put this and find space for it, or I want to put this stress test. I've seen plenty of people who are like, find the most things that can. I can find the generic that gives me all the seeker missiles, and let's just see what happens. Like, go have fun with it, I guess. Like, I've seen like Cartel Spacer list that's just a bunch of seeker missiles. I've seen SF's a bunch of seeker missiles. Like,
so
that's what people do all the time. Is they take like this is the cool new munition. How could I break it? Like, sure, go for it. But there's also, like, you mentioned the flight assist astromech. Like, 3 points, good, get it, use it, try it out. Yeah. But also that means you don't get some of the named astromechs on that feature ship you might be using. Like, there's a trade-off, right? Like, people are like, oh, I get to do this maneuvering thing, but this maneuvering thing comes from my astromech, and which means I lose my, on Republic side, I lose Chopper, or I lose R4P17, or in Rebels, I lose access to, I don't know what's probably more
like R3 even,
Yeah, R3 on some of on the E-wings that love to take them, right?
Yeah, or the Y-wings, yeah.
The one that really stood out to me, and it's a unique one, I really like the idea of having Nora with the new lock boosty mech R7T1. Strap an advanced proton torpedo onto her with the new burst laser turret, and then you have 4 points left. Now, take an ion bomb or automated loaders or whatever you want to do, but burst laser, advanced proton, R4T1, Nora, sounds fun.
It just frees up a mod slot too.
Pretty scary.
Boosting Nora, we have never had that before.
Yeah, no kidding. Wow, that does sound really good.
Yeah. Andrew and Nick, and I guess Ryan, but you mentioned you were playing a little less. How do you guys feel about some of the battle over Endor stuff for Rebels becoming, I guess, unlocked points wise? I was frankly a little terrified of it. It's exciting.
Are you looking at Wedge? Like,
I'm looking at Wedge, man. I'm looking at Wedge.
Let me look at the wedges.
I'm looking at Wedge, and I'm looking. I believe Gina came down as well. The BOE B-wing. Probably to a range that is still a little expensive, but certainly in the efficiency wise, like I think playable. She's kind of out of her points jail that she was in.
Yeah, I'm scrolling to it. Sorry,
Yeah,
one sec.
I've been, like I said, with Wedge coming down, I was alluding to earlier, playing against some Rebel players who have been really happy to get Wedge back on the table. Not the Battle over Endor one. I've actually been seeing a lot of the build your own at 13 points, which I think is a little bit more manageable. I feel like for Rebels, though, some of the Battle over Endor, like 15 points for Wedge, seems pretty properly priced.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take it. Karner Jax is in comparison with one of the new pieces of content for Empire is priced at 12. Battle over Endor Wedge, he has the extra shield. He's got that ability to get the focus token back. He is, a little bit more nimble, and he has that APT, et cetera, et cetera. And the double modded potential. So at 15, he went down a point, down from 16 to 15. Battle of Yavin Wedge is really cheap. He's at 13 now. He went from 15 to 13.
Yeah.
The thing about Battle of Yavin Wedge, though, is that you can't use that ability to deduct, reduce the agility of the defender unless a friendly is in your attack arc. So he's not in an auto ability sort of situation like you have with Custom Wedge.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to double check, but I can't remember at the top of my head if that's for primaries only or if we can use it for his proton torpedoes.
I'm looking at it. It's primary only.
Yeah, and that's another thing is that so he's really not that good where you're like, oh my gosh, like what have you done? And he's I5. He's also not even I6.
Mm-hmm.
But like I mentioned, the I5 is kind of a little bit.
Still good value for
sure.
Good
value these days.
I think people just see Wedge and they think about the really nasty abilities that we've seen Wedge have, whether it was it's the OG Wedge, Custom Wedge, or, Battle over Endor. And then we have this one, which is always the forgotten one. And it's nice to see him priced and not be forgotten.
Yeah.
I mean, since Battle of Yavin came out, I'm trying to think about what people were playing when that came out within the first 6 months. And it was mainly Luke. It had stuck around with Luke. Mm-hmm. Dark Curse barely, if at all. But boy, my favorite personally is Mauler Mythal and Backstabber because those two guys got me Worlds invites. I would have collected them if I was allowed to get more than one. A Worlds invite, super fun and ridiculous and crazy. So yeah, I'd say that I think Rebels were the faction that I feel like I heard the most noise about when it came to complaints about them not being very good, and this points change shakes up everything, not just Rebels, but there is a lot of blue, which is like green basically on that spreadsheet.
Yes.
I know the list that consistently been like tweaking and putting together has been more Rebel based. It's got Custom Wedge, Fen Rao in the Fang, Nora in that Y-Wing, and Kyle Katarn in the Hawk.
Cool.
Just two I6s to take some heat off of Nora. Nora can go in, do her thing, blow something up. Kyle's sharing some focuses around with Jin in there if I want to share an evade somewhere.
And then this is a boosting Nora too, which is exciting. Yeah.
It's a boosting Nora who can shed the stress if Fen Rao's ability is active too.
Oh sure, yeah. Sick.
Mm-hmm.
I want to maybe try it. That sounds like fun. Or see if you get a U-Wing to do those Talon rolls.
Yes.
Oh man. I'm trying to see what like the largest change was. I'm seeing a lot of like for pilot, like the ship points. I'm seeing a lot of like 2s. Is there any 3s or more?
I don't think anything shifted that drastically as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, Ryan, can you alluded a little bit too about like how you and the points team work together. It's always a fluid conversation, right? Can you just tell us with what you're willing to or able to share about just kind of what that relationship is like when it comes to working together, especially when you guys are not close on initial points estimates?
I guess in that end part and specific example, if we feel that we're far apart on where we believe the power level on something is, and then they'll kind of open up a discussion of like, okay, what is this doing in the eyes of each side of the sort of table of discussion, right? Is, someone from points may feel that the upgrader pilot is too powerful, explain reasonings why. and the design team will take a look at that, ingest that information and thought process, and kind of figure, okay, you know, how do we find a spot in the middle, or like, is there a reason to go back and have like a hard debate either way, or is it okay? Do we find, how do we pull levers back? And it's actually one of the things we look for a lot of times when we design stuff, is if we feel that something might not be enough or might be too powerful. Um, Generally, we'll err on the side of, let's try the powerful thing first, and then we can reel it back in. But finding ways to design certain pilots or upgrades to where we actually have the ability to, like, we already have levers in our head. We're like, okay, if this is too powerful, we know we can change this to a charge or increase the charge, or instead of changing it every other turn, it's only twice a game. Or if it's like, instead of changing a hit to a crit, it could be changing an eyeball to a hit, you know, if we want to make it more powerful in some aspects. So there's a lot of ways where we can find sort of preemptive spots that, when we send it off to, whether it's conversation with points or play testers, to be like, okay, we already have levers in mind to push and pull this. Some designs, though, are so specific, and whether they hit on with the points team where we want it to hit, or with the play testers, that there aren't many levers, and it's an experimental level thing where we have to go back and be like, okay, this wasn't hitting the correct spots. When we have an explanation from points or play testing that say this is where it doesn't feel good, whether it's too powerful or not powerful enough, or what are the aspects that are feeling good, can we extrapolate on that, or do we just kind of back to drawing board it a little bit and find different angles of thematic approach to encapsulate that pilot better? I think a good example is probably like Zori Bliss. There's a lot of levers in that initial card. Like, if it was too powerful to give so the resistance ship had to have a jam action, right? If it wasn't powerful enough and we want to be able to fit on more chassis, maybe we don't require it to have the jam action on there and we give it a jam action. But if it's too powerful to give a ship that normally doesn't have a white jam, maybe we only give it a red jam. Maybe the charges, instead of once every turn, it's once every other turn. Maybe instead of one recur, it's two recur, but you need to spend two to use it each time, so you can essentially only use it every other turn. The range restrictions, what type of token it's gaining, instead of matching, it could be a specific one. So having a lot of those things in mind, to where whether it's pushing and pulling because the power level seems too low or too high, or if we want it to hit a certain point range, say when we were doing the astromechs or the mods, we're like, okay, we're designing some new ones to fill those holes, and we get a astromech that, like flight assist as an example, we're trying to figure out how often we should be allowed to use that during a game and where it should be on the points bracket. A lot of that will sort of try to align together, so that, because if we wanted to, we could make flight assist astromech not be limited, but then it would shoot up in points value per game, right? So it's like, where do we want it on the points bracket may easily dictate how often we feel like something should trigger during a game, or how easily it can trigger via, it's like, is it a bullseye effect? Is it an arc effect? Is it just a be within range of something effect? The tighter you make things, the harder it is to achieve, meaning the payoff could potentially be higher.
Yeah, it's really cool to get that insight on the approach. And I think it's nice. One thing I personally noticed with these new upgrades is that they feel like they haven't strayed from the design of X-Wing like too much. Like everything feels like it naturally flows within the current mechanics in game state too.
Yeah, there's definitely a level of like, how far can we push this into new design territory while still feeling like we're playing X-Wing, and not just here's a barf of words on a card, and now if we do too many weird things, it's now just a game of reading cards over and over because people are trying to understand what is even happening right now.
It's like
Yeah,
you know that game that we all love that is it's like War of the Ring or Rebellion, where you're like, okay, we're playing for a while, but I have to stop and read the direct the rules reference about 29 times every hour to make sure we're doing things correctly. You don't want that. Even though
No,
a lot of us will
look.
endure, we don't want that.
There was a time I played Warhammer 40K, and the thing I hated the most about that game, besides how long it took, but part of it, the reason why it took so long was because how often we had to go back and reference like 3 different rule books, because one was for one army, one was for another, and one was the core rule book, and just to find the answer to the question of who gets to do the thing they want to do in this specific exchange.
yeah.
X-Wing players would never fathom reading at any level, let alone a level of that magnitude.
Look,
Couldn't catch
as
me
a
reading.
common reader to the people, I understand.
Reader to the people. Yeah, right. Oh man, that's amazing. A couple of quick little fun exercises I want to do with you guys based on the new points in the new content. So keep those 2 things in mind together, right? As they are kind of one and the same in a way. If there was a tournament happening today, what faction are you bringing? And what pilot, it could be a new pilot or a pilot that has changed in points, are you plugging into that list? I'm going to start with you, Sam. I'm putting you on the spot. I'll give you a second to think about it, but I'll start with you.
I don't even need the second to think.
All right, go for it.
So I mentioned before, I've been shoving Thrawn into every list that I possibly can. I really think that Thrawn on a Reaper is like the future for Empire. I'm flying Empire. I'm flying Thrawn. I'm jamming people all day long.
Acceptable losses, as he says. if
That
Thrawn ever does inventory,
Vizier carrier is real strong, and he has some really cool interactions with the aileron, coordinate, trigger with Thrawn at the same time.
Yeah, it's pretty silly. You can cover a lot of ground.
There was always the argument of Vizier versus Faroff. I was always a Faroff truther just because of the durability, but man, what you can get off of Thrawn with Vizier is pretty sweet.
Yeah, it gives you just take all the actions, and I love doing that.
Have you tried putting? I mean, she's at a really low cost now, but have you tried the Sienna recrew with that too?
I have not. That's interesting.
I put together like a sort of really nimble affecting units that can take advantage of it, and I had a list that was like Vizier with Vizier with Thrawn with Sienna recrew, and then the Grand Inquisitor with Sense and Blind Spot Targeter, Countess Ryad, because you have the flexibility of deciding if you want to K-turn or not. So if you do like the Sienna Re, like coordinate, rotate, and then you can do like a straight or turn around K-turn because of Countess with like juke and targeting matrix. And then like Mouse Monaire, because like that fuel injector thing, like super big barrel rolls, whether in system or then super big barrel plus turning, like with Sienna Re and stuff. So, and like using outmaneuver style effects with using defender turnaround. Grand Inquisitor just doing tight move turns with the great dial that it has, and then Mouse Monaire just being a more durable interceptor with great outmaneuver capability.
All right, I'm in.
I don't know when I'll try it, but go for it.
I'm building it in Yasby right now.
Ryan, as someone who has got their ass absolutely handed to them by you multiple times, I would gladly get my ass handed to me again by you to place that list. It sounds like
I've always kept my eye on Sienna Re. Like maybe someday she'll be good. She's only 2 points as a crew. Like she's gotta go somewhere, and if it's somewhere, it's probably with Thrawn.
Makes a lot of sense.
I've been hoping that, like, because Sienna Re is also one of the pilots that I always revisit and see if there's a new way to make her work, because it's such an interesting ability to me.
All right, Andrew, I'm going to move on to you. Faction that you're picking if there's a tournament today, and who's the pilot that you're building that list around?
Oh, I'm going to be bringing Resistance. I'm going to try to make it work with Poe Dameron in the YT 1700, and I'm going to try to fit Wedge Antilles' crew on there, because I think that's more punishing. And then I also want to bring Kazuda Siono with one of these new astromechs. I'm thinking either the Flight Assist astromech, or I can even do the like modified R4P astromech before I do red maneuvers, I can reduce its difficulty. So I think there's a lot of interesting. And then Also with Zori Bliss's jam ability, putting her on as a crew, I think having maybe even putting that onto Poe or Rey, if I go on that direction, being able to jam and steal tokens from other people, especially like I6, I think that's going to be nasty.
Don't forget, Zori Bliss does require the ship to already have a jam action on it.
Oh, never mind.
Aha! Well,
Jamming
guys,
I6 Poe, not allowed.
Not
Or
allowed.
I6 Han, not allowed.
Someone in the
seems like they thought about that.
someone's gonna comment about is like these said YT 1700. He went 1300. Yeah, you're
1300,
good.
sorry.
I was gonna say we've added 400 to the YT. I'd like to hop aboard. I'm intrigued at what that extra 400 will give us. You know,
I was gonna say, what does it give you? Does it give you
a jam
another,
action?
Just give you another dish to do that jam?
Yeah, it gives you another dish. You get to
Extra
jam.
dishes.
Yeah.
Oh man,
It's a totally new unit. Slap some more paint on this baby. It's ready to go.
But I'll have Ryan go last on this. I have already played a game with Thweek. I love Scum. It's always had a part of my heart. So I would say I would be bringing Scum to a tournament, as Scum has, had really recently been doing super well at events. And I will say that I was playing Thweek with advanced sensors and just absolutely never using it because I was constantly stressing myself. So probably would revisit using advanced sensors on Thweek for me, although I'm sure it's still really good because it's advanced sensors. That's what I would bring. And Ryan, what about you? It's gonna be some sort of gravitic well nonsense for sure.
I've already mentioned some of the stuff I would do in like Empire Rebel, but you're not wrong that I was looking at least some type of separatist list. When the loadout has no more room for afterburners on Sunfuck, you just got to get the barrel roll version with retrofit auto thrusters and ensnare anyway. So now you can double barrel roll and tractor people, on top of having the other new I6 Tri-Fighter. Tri-Fighters are one of my favorite ships in Star Wars, and I was really happy to make this have this one join the game. I think the fun combination with him too is another usage of retrofit auto thrusters, because you can do retrofit plus debris gambit. So the action bar on the Tri is barrel roll, link to red, evade, right? So you do a 3-turn bank, talent, whatever, and you do a barrel roll, and then off that barrel roll is with the action bar of the Tri is an evade, which if you do it next to a obstacle, it is now a white evade. And then you do your normal actions, which could be boost and calculate. Behold, 4 actions. So that and Sunfuck.
Seems bad.
Yeah, can't be good.
But then I that's 2 really nimble ships. I need a brawler, right? And I keep going back and forth whether I want a Maul Sith Infiltrator is an option, right? Big beefy guy, but we now have access to the tech slot. I love the idea of putting Pattern Analyzer on him. And then we would have the Chancellor Palpatine and probably Hate, because we love to give people stress. We stress other people, they can't catch our aces
we're all
as
being
well.
thrown into that boat, aren't we?
Look,
I'll be in this boat. I like
all
it.
right, fine.
I did it in 1.0.
Yeah, the problem is you're left with 9 points. There's not a lot of fantastic things at 9 after that. It's probably an HMP, but it's kind of underwhelming. So the other option is the big, nasty middle of the board brawler is Pre-Vizsla in the Gauntlet. I also like that. Ability. Yeah, he hits really hard. And
he does.
Just kind of have to take Contraband, but they want to get rid of big bad Gauntlet. Well, let's put Notorious on it. Sounds good. I forgot the 6 points left what I like to, but it's probably either Bo-Katan crew or Grievous crew. One of the two seems pretty reasonable. And then you have 10 points left, and then I think I get to fit my second most favorite Tri-Fighter, which is, there he is, my boy, Mr. Rerolly All Day, DIS T81 from Coruscant. Without maneuver, afterburners, contingency protocol.
One of my favorite appearances in the Star Wars films was DIS T81 for sure. I mean, really
Funny
stole
reroll, man.
the show. Yeah, incredible at the beginning of Revenge of the Sith.
So yeah, I might be a
Absolutely.
little bit leaning towards the double tri-fighter one, because then you have
like
an outmaneuvering tri-fighter. You got the sort of like in the mix can token stack I6 tri, and then you have Sunfok doing his terrible things, and then a giant gauntlet in Pre-Vizsla that, if you take Bo-Katan crew, is actually kind of thematic. You just have a bunch of, Mandalorians on there being notorious with contraband stuff.
Sounds utterly disgusting.
I like it.
Yeah.
I would also like to interrupt this conversation to remind people that the tech slot was added back to the E-Wing chassis, and I am liberated. I am like,
I was gonna say, how does that make you feel,
Dufresne
Nick?
at the end of Shawshank Redemption. I'm like Andy Dufresne looking up into the sky as the rain is pouring, as the tech slots or droplets are hitting my face, because I get to play them on E-Wings again. Give me that pair analyzer,
Well,
please, and
you
thank
could
you.
always play them before.
Yeah, you
But
could.
You know what you can do with them?
Give
You know what you can do with them
give
now?
me elusive and pattern analyzer. Oh, chef's kiss.
Wait, can you do elusive pattern analyzer and unhinged astromech now?
Oh.
Is there anyone that can
Gavin
take
has
that?
20 loadout, so maybe
That's a lot,
That's
probably.
a lot of loadouts.
Yeah, you can
But yeah,
definitely-
I think that's another one that hasn't been talked about. Unhinged. That was actually a
Blue
1.0 card, but
threes.
giving blue threes are crazy.
Yeah.
Unhinged
yeah.
is something I'm very excited to play with.
I'm
in
very
here's the-
existence.
excited about that one too.
I like unhinged astromech a lot, but on an E-Wing, it's R4 all day for me if I want that dial to be open.
I
up,
figured
for
you'd
sure.
do that. That's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, because I'm a
It's-
loser. Yeah.
No. Like, I understand hard 1 white is really hard to ignore.
Yeah.
Well, 2 hard blues, 2 it just opens up such a good 1 to 2 speed on the dial.
The infamous
Right.
2 hard blue. Yeah.
Yes, infamous for sure.
Yeah.
Oh man, what's gonna be fun? I'm gonna have to build a rebel list as well. Lots of good stuff here. New content wise, new points updated.
Oh, I even had 2 extra points left over on that DIS L9B2. I can put Discord missiles on them. Do you know Discord missiles at I6 is pretty good with reposition?
I think they're just good no matter what eye you're on.
It's like, did you know? Double
I'm-
reposition Discord missile? Even if you don't get the bullseye on someone to stay I6.
I'm checking my NCX matchup for this week, and I think I have to play CIS.
So yeah, you got a little preview of two.
Yeah.
Well,
Ooh,
you
there
can
you go.
try to convince Nick to not release this episode before that matchup, so they don't take the ideas and just use them against you.
think we're
Well,
safe.
it's Andrew we need to convince. Although I don't know if we should be waiting super long to release this because
Yeah,
it's
no.
based on the
This
new
is
release.
this is a little more time sensitive for sure.
Yeah, it is. It's more work for Andrew, unfortunately. Well, guys, I think we're getting ready to wrap up here. It's been an awesome conversation. Ryan, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
And talking through everything. Is there anything else anybody wanted to mention before Andrew signs us off?
No, go for it.
Yeah, I don't have anything either. But Ryan, it's been great having you on and getting some insight into how this new content is developed. I thought that was very cool.
Yeah, no problem. I always have to kind of like think to myself, did I say something I wasn't supposed to? No, I think I'm good.
But yeah,
Paul will let me know, but he trusts me. So we're pretty good with all this stuff. So, and if something fun slips out, then
That's
whatever.
council's problem.
It may not ever see the light. I mean, you're right here, so you get to yell at me, but
yeah.
But if something ever slips out, there's no guarantee it sees the light of day. We've had some stuff before that we've had to say maybe later. I think Nick can review it. He's a council member.
Yeah.
He's got the clearance level for that type of stuff.
It's nice to have one of those in our backyard. But yeah,
Yeah.
without further ado, thank you everyone for listening to this episode and continuing to support us here at 312. You can find all this new content and points update documents at xwing.life. A link will be in the description. If you aren't already following us on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, you should. Links will also be in the description. And 312 is excited to be producing exclusive alt art cards featuring new XWA pilots and upgrades for their patrons. Consider supporting us on Patreon and get rewarded with some awesome swag. Lastly, we are proud to be sponsored by Infinite Arenas, so you can head to Infinite Arenas to get your fix of X-Wing compatible components, including accessible card printing, physical game assets, and much more. That link also in the description. My name is Andrew Kouba.
I'm Samuel Graebner.
I'm Ryan Staniszewski from Detroit 313. Yeah. We're
Woo.
better than 312. Ha ha!
I'm Nick Sperry from Chicago 312 better than Detroit 313. Aha! Thank you
My
all.
number's higher, I win.
The
Oh.
Detroit is the YT 1700 to Chicago's YT 1300.
Yes. Oh man.
No, we're the YT 1300. It's in the name. You guys are the old model. You're the YT 1200.
3113th Squadron. How dare you? Have a good night, y'all. Thank you for listening.
Yeah.
Or day.
See y'all later.